Today is Thursday, December the 5th, 2019. This is the Golden Noles Podcast. If you're listening to this, we probably have not hired a coach yet. All the information and research that I have been gathering says they might hire a guy this weekend. And the candidates pretty much are the Clemson coordinators, Matt Rule, Luke Fickell, and Mike Norvell. To me, the two most impressive guys out of that bunch would be Brent Venables and Matt Rule. The only two mistakes that I can really think of that the administration has made during this coaching search is one, the Renaissance letter by Thrasher and Coburn telling the fan base that he would like to make a hire by the end of the month, if not before. If you don't do those two things, there's really nothing to complain about. Other than the fact that you probably need to have a head coach in place for the early signing period to get recruits, which is what makes this whole thing go, is quality recruits. And, that's just my current state on the coaching search. And you could always go back to Odell, man. I think one thing Odell would have to do is fire Harlan Barnett. I think you could replace him with Charlie Strong. Charlie Strong has always been a great defensive coordinator. Then you would have to redo your whole strength and conditioning program. And then you would have to find at least 3 or 4 quality tackles, 3 or 4 quality defensive ends, pass rushers, defensive tackles, get you a quality secondary coach that can teach these guys how to play zone, because obviously Harlan Barnett can't do that. I think if you do those things, you could win 9 or 10 games, because I don't see the ACC improving that dramatically next season. So you're not going to beat Clemson, but you could definitely, be the number 2 team in the ACC. You look at Wake Forest. Look at what they did. They went 8-4. We should be at least 8-4 right now. We lost to Virginia, we lost to Wake Forest, and we lost to Boise State. We lost to Florida and Miami. Clemson, Florida, Miami is a wash. The other 3 games, we should have had those. So that put us at 9-3 right there. It's nice to see that the coaching staff is still out there grinding, trying to get recruits, offering. So just in case whatever the administration is trying to do doesn't work out, hey, you've been doing your job. It's just really sad, man, because Florida State is, a great place to, play football. You look at that stadium, beautiful campus, beautiful area of the country, and just the boosters, the administration has just taken a cheap approach to football, and now you're paying for it. You should have just listened to Jimbo, several years ago. You wouldn't be in this position. But, I think the last couple of episodes I've harped on that. But I think I've pretty much outlined how we get back to relevance. It's going to take us a while to get to Clemson's level, but I think we can definitely get back there. I mean, we were there, 4 or 5 years ago. So it's, to maintain that level, you're going to have to dig in them pockets, man. Build that standalone football facility. Pull those bags out to get those 5-star recruits. I mean, that's really the bottom line right now. That's how college football is going. And especially when they do this likeness and image thing that they're going to let the players take advantage of, it's going to be even more, prevalent then. So, you should have got your ducks in a row several years ago. Just taking a little break from Florida State, I wanted to talk about the college football playoff. They have Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Clemson 3, Georgia 4, Utah 5. I want to say Oklahoma is 6 and Baylor is 7. First and foremost, Utah, you're not getting in. This is all about money. This is not putting the 4 best teams in a playoff. This is about money, period. And how many viewers can we generate on that night, December 28th? So I don't care what Utah does. They can go out there and score 1,000 points on Oregon. They're not getting in. They're hoping and praying that Oklahoma wins, beats Baylor. Then it's gonna be depending on that SEC championship. If LSU wins the SEC championship, it's gonna be LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oklahoma. Just for money purposes. That's all the college football. If it was really about putting the 4 best teams in the playoff, there would be no committee. It would just say, okay, the conference championships, if you win your conference championship, you're in. There would be no need for a committee. So anytime you have a committee picking the teams, this is about money. Period. I don't care what level or sport it is. When you have a committee picking the teams, it's an election process, and there is an agenda every single time. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the coaches. Matt Rule rebuilt Baylor after the Brow scandal. So we know he got what it takes to rebuild a program. So he checks all the boxes. Mike Norvell, no Power 5 experience as a head coach. So to me, Willie Taggart 2.0. He's a no-go. Brent Venables checks all the boxes. Great defensive mind, championship pedigree, studied behind some legends in this game. He checks all the boxes. Luke Fickell, he did a brief stint at Ohio State before Urban Meyer took over. But to me, that wasn't long enough to say he's got Power 5 experience. And, Mike Norvell or Luke Fickell is not going to be a splash hire. The Clemson offensive coordinators, not enough experience to me. I think Brent Venables is a little bit more ahead of those guys in terms of experience. So, if I'm ranking them, I say Venables, Matt Rule, the Clemson offensive coordinators, Elliott, and I forget the other guy's name, Scott. And then I have Norvell and Fickell. So, The bottom line is, you're, I don't know what you're doing, administration, about this coaching situation. And you need to get your ducks together. You're like in a holding pattern. If you don't get anybody this weekend, you pretty much got to go back to Odell, man. You can't just hire anybody just to avoid Odell. You have to, get somebody in there that can do the job effectively. It may not be a splash, but you need to at least get somebody that can do this job and be effective. So, they painted the field. They had a little press conference area set up. They took all that down. So I don't know if that was just some kind of smoke screen or what. But, these are the kind of issues that you have when you have an outgoing president and an outgoing athletic director and an outgoing booster president. These are the issues that you're going to have. So I can respect the fact that you're taking your time to get the hire right, but you're taking too much time at this point. It's been, over 30 days. I don't think it takes that long to find a guy that can match what you're trying to do. And we don't know if this actually is the administration or the search firm that is, taking their sweet time by, hiring a guy. So, you just got to be a little bit more, you just got to have a little more sense of urgency for your program, for your fan base, for the current players, and for the future players. You can't lose Jeff Sims, man. You cannot lose. You can't go, basically a fourth year, right? Or a third year. I think Blackman came in 2017. So 18, 19. You can't go a third year without getting a high school quarterback. Because there's no guarantee that you're going to go into the portal and get a quality quarterback. See Alex Hornibrook. You want to get another guy like him out there? Doing the Texas two-step when the speed rush comes around the corner, shuffling, ducking and jiving. I don't want to see that. So, we got to get back to, Florida State tradition. Top, like Odell said, top 5. Competing for national championships, competing for ACC championships. That's got to be the standard around here, man. And I believe we can get back to that. But we just got to change our whole mindset and how we do things. So with that being said, this is episode number 5. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your support. The podcast is available on all platforms. Please support the podcast. Thank you.